The arena floor trembled as the Crithian combat master, Thor, raised all four of his segmented arms toward the viewing gallery. His mandibles clicked in what Susan had learned to recognize as satisfaction. "Humans," his translator device crackled, "you stand accused of territorial encroachment into Crithian space. As is our custom, you may resolve this dispute through combat your champion against ours." His eyes, all six of them, gleamed with predatory confidence. "Do you accept?" Susan glanced at Evan, who stood beside her in the observation deck of their damaged exploratory vessel, the Perseverance. They'd been in Crithian space for less than 48 hours, documenting an asteroid field, when the warships had surrounded them. "We don't want conflict," Evan called down, his diplomatic training evident in his measured tone. "Our presence here was unintentional. We'll leave immediately." "Too late for that, human." Thor's translator carried something that might have been amusement. "You have trespassed. Honor demands resolution. Unless," he paused. "You are cowards?" Susan felt her jaw tighten. She'd read the cultural briefings on the Crithians. Backing down now would mark humanity as prey species across 3 sectors. Their expedition, maybe even Earth's standing in the galactic community, hung on this moment. Orchestrated narrative tension and human triumph through unexpected beast reveal. Good setup. Now I need to introduce the beast and build tension. The story should show Susan being the one to handle this situation, with Evan supporting. The key is the title. They'll bring out their apex beast, and then Susan will call for hers, which should be something from Earth that's unexpectedly formidable, compared to alien creatures. Let me continue building the confrontation and then deliver the HFY moment. "We accept," Susan said firmly, cutting off whatever Evan was about to say. She saw his eyes widen, but he nodded slowly, trusting her judgment. "Excellent." Thor's mandibles spread wide. Then witness the might of Crithia. A massive gate groaned open at the far end of the arena. The creature that emerged made Susan's breath catch. It stood 3 meters at the shoulder, with obsidian scales that seemed to absorb light itself. 6 legs carried its bulk with surprising grace, and its head gods. Its head was all teeth and horns and ancient fury. The beast's roar shook the reinforced viewing glass. "The Vortal," Thor announced proudly. "Apex predator of our homeworld. Undefeated in 7,000 combat trials. Its hide can withstand plasma fire. Its bite pressure exceeds your human industrial presses." He turned those 6 eyes on Susan. "What champion do you offer against such perfection?" The Crithians in the gallery chittered with laughter. Through the translator, it sounded like breaking glass. Evan leaned close to Susan. "Please tell me you have a plan," he whispered, "because our weapons are still locked down by their dampening field." Susan's lips curved into a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I have a plan." She raised her voice. "We accept your terms, Thor. But by Earth custom, I choose the arena conditions." The Crithian combat master's mandibles twitched confusion perhaps. "Explain. Your beast fights well in controlled environments," Susan said, her mind racing through everything she knew about Crithian culture and biology. "But can it track prey across varied terrain? Humans believe true apex predators adapt to any environment." Thor considered this. Pride warred with caution across his alien features. Finally, he clicked agreement. "The arena walls will lower. The surrounding forest preserve may be used. 1 hour. If your champion survives that long, we grant safe passage." "Agreed." Susan turned to Evan. "I need you to override the cargo bay locks. Emergency authorization. Access hold 3. Understanding dawned in Evan's eyes, followed quickly by uncertainty. "Susan, are you sure? The protocols were written by people who never met the Crithians," she interrupted. "Trust me." While Evan's fingers flew over his wrist console, Susan watched the Vortal pace the now expanded arena. The walls had retracted, revealing the carefully manicured alien forest beyond Crithia's idea of a preserve, filled with transplanted flora from a dozen worlds. Susan Chen, Zekthor called. Present your champion or forfeit. Oh, I'll present her, Susan said. She touched her comm badge. Echo, here girl. Come. The response was immediate, a bark that carried across the arena, followed by a howl that made every Crithian in the gallery fall silent. The sound was pure, primal, and utterly foreign to their experience. Through the Perseverance's open cargo bay door, she emerged. 90 kilograms of gray and white fur, amber eyes, and focused intensity. The wolf dog moved with liquid grace, her mixed heritage timber wolf and Alaskan Malamute, evident in every powerful stride. Echo had been bred, raised, and trained for one purpose: to accompany human deep space missions into unknown territories. She was search and rescue, early warning system, and companion rolled into one magnificent package. She was also, Susan knew, evolution's perfect persistence predator. That? Zekthor's translator couldn't quite mask his confusion. That small creature is your apex beast? Oh no, Susan said, reaching down to scratch Echo behind the ears as the wolf dog reached the viewing platform. Echo's not my apex beast. She looked up at the Crithian, her smile now sharp as broken glass. She's my hunting partner. There's a difference. She turned to Echo. Track, she commanded, pointing at the Vortal. Long chase. Tire it out. Echo's ears pricked forward. She glanced at Susan, once confirmation. Understanding. The bond between human and canine that had existed for 30,000 years, then bolted into the arena. What happened next would become legend in 3 sectors. The Vortal, seeing this smaller creature approach, charged with all the fury of Crithia's apex predator. Echo dodged with insulting ease, darting into the forest preserve. The massive beast followed, confident in its power. But Echo didn't fight. She ran, and ran, and ran. The Vortal, built for explosive combat in controlled environments, began to slow after 20 minutes. Echo, descended from wolves that could run 70 kilometers in a single day, was just warming up. She led the beast through terrain, over obstacles, through water features, always staying just ahead, always visible enough to keep it chasing. Evan pulled up biometric data on his console. The Vortal's core temperature is rising. It's not built for sustained pursuit. No, Susan agreed, watching Echo work. It's an ambush predator, perfect for their arena combat. But humans and wolves? We evolved to chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. Persistence hunting. We didn't outrun our prey. We outlasted it. End quote. At the 40-minute mark, the Vortal stumbled. At 50 minutes, it lay panting on the forest floor, unable to continue. Echo sat nearby, tongue lolling, looking remarkably pleased with herself. The arena fell silent. I believe, Susan said into that silence. The hour is up. The Crithian combat master stared at the impossible scene. His champion, undefeated for centuries, had been conquered not by strength, but by endurance, by strategy, by a partnership between species that his people had never imagined possible. Safe passage, he finally agreed, his voice carrying newfound respect. And, perhaps, we have much to learn about humans and their hunting partners, Susan whistled. Echo's ears perked up, and she trotted back, tail wagging. As Susan scratched her loyal companion's head, Evan began restoration of their ship's systems. The Crithians would spread the word. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy, and they brought with them creatures who hunted, not with claws or teeth alone, but with something far more dangerous: patience, strategy, and 10 millennia of partnership. Zekthor watched the Perseverance depart, and clicked thoughtfully. Humans, it seemed, had been apex predators all along. They just needed the right context to prove it.